'Twas the night before the storm, and all through the planet not a creature was stirring except Megatron's fire ant. The big boss's pooter said that it found from a mountain alien signatures abound.
Inferno one morning took a walk nice and brisk, and followed the clues to find a golden disc. He took that gold disc with a lovely new sheen, and took it to Megatron and said, "Yes, my queen."
Optimus was flying to investigate the site, but a message from Megatron interrupted his flight. He met up with Megs on a mountain with care, who stated it was time for a truce, he declared.
Optimus was worried, 'cause this isn't like the Preds, so Rat Trap should find out what fills them with dread. Air Razor flies the rat into Pred space to play, but Megatron just asked nicely for them to go away.
Tarantulas, that spider, seems to have his own plan, so he steals the transwarp cell, and his plot was at hand. With a buzz in comes Waspinator, curious but dumb, but the spider blows him up, perhaps just for fun.
Rat Trap had failed to get in the Pred base, but guess what? Tigatron snuck in his place. Black Arachnia, the widow, followed Tarantula's tracks and cornered him to make a venomous pact.
In the dark side, a tiger stalks down the halls. During a truce with no gun, he sure has some balls. In a 90s VR suite, the kitty digs high and low. When did he learn to hack during his time in the snow?
What Tigatron sees scares the stripes off his coat. Pterosaur spots the cat, takes a moment to gloat. A gun to the cat's head, but a truce is still set. But you know his trigger finger, it just might forget.
Tigatron knocks him away and begins to run. Megatron wants him captured, but don't use your guns. The Maximals are ready to get Tigatron out. If you listen closely, you can hear Megatron shout.
On Pterosaur, on Tarantulas, on Arachnia, Inferno! Go capture that kitty, and don't let him go! So the Preds try to catch him in a manner most frantic. The Maximals save him with cartoon-like antics.
Now back at the base, a storm is approaching. Tigatron tells a story of a plot so engrossing. Someone made this planet where the team has been bumming, and it turns out the aliens are coming.
The news is so jarring, gives the Maximals a fright. Season finales for all, and to all a good night.
Welcome back to Beast Wars Wednesday.
Welcome back to Beast Wars Wednesday. He's your host.
Decepticon Doug.
I'm your other host,
Predacon Paul. And joining us today is a special guest host,
Puddle.
Say hi, Puddle.
Circus.
Whoa. Whoa. So thanks for listening to The Night Before Beasties, a special poem for the holiday season.
Man, really blew my mind.
So yeah, we're here to talk about Before the Storm.
A prequel.
A prequel sorts to the season finale of Beast
It's
Wars.
like a prelude.
Prelude. That's a good. Yeah.
What worked for you?
What worked indeed.
I keep thinking we should go into the synopsis.
Yeah,
but we've already done the synopsis.
Yeah, exactly. This episode is mostly pretty solid. It's a lot of setup. It's almost just a whole episode of setup. So it's a nice setup for bigger things to come. And, you do get a sense of, like, something big is going to happen.
Even with, like, Tigatron's super dramatic reveal.
Actually, I almost think that's one of the best parts of the episode is at the very end when he's like, they're coming. It's like...
And then, like, Optimus is like, that's just prime.
Yeah. All the drama and the storm and this music. I like that he used a lot of the characters effectively. Like, everyone kind of got a bit of a moment in it. It's good to see Inferno and Air Razor again. And also, like, that's one thing I also really like is we know just through previous, like the last episode, how loyal Inferno is to Megatron. But you don't actually get to see them interact very much until this episode.
He just hangs around Megatron and just waits to be given an order. I don't know if he's confused or if he's just like really just taking it all in, but his reactions to Megatron when he's monologuing to himself are just some of the best bits ever between the two of them.
I really like it. It's very natural humor. Like, it's two characters just kind of like being very in character. Megatron just loving his own plotting, and Inferno just like listening to it, not understanding necessarily what he's talking about, but he's just along for the ride, you know?
Well, Inferno's an interesting character in that what he does really, really well, but he's not Megatron level intelligence. Tarantulas is on the same level. He's like, I know what's going on. I know what's happening. I'm getting the heck out of Dodge. Inferno's just like, I don't know what you just said, but cool.
But I'm on your side.
Yes, my queen.
Yeah. Also, the beginning of that ongoing joke of yes, my queen.
There's something that I did like about this episode, which we didn't like about a previous episode, and I'm going to try to explain why. So in Dark Designs, when Rhinox pits Scorponok and Pterosaur against each other,
okay,
I hated that, and I think you did too. In fact, I think you're the one who like planted that seed in my head that it was like come on, you guys. They're all nerfed versions of themselves because they can't use their guns, right? Mm-hmm. So they're forced to rely on tackling. But the very same thing happened. Pterosaur and Scorponok ended up getting in each other's way in very much the same way they did before, although like accidentally this time. Yeah. It kind of had a charming way of like working in this episode, and it was also predictable.
Yeah, it was a very classic cartoon setup of like, I'm gonna get you, and down one hallway, and then boom.
Something about the way it happened in this episode just happened to work.
Yeah, I like Tarantulas in this episode as well. His scheming, you know, like he's got it really shows that he's got his own agenda. He doesn't care about any of the other Predacons. To Wasp in here, he literally just goes like, here, have a bomb, see you later. You know?
Dynamite sticks with a timer.
Yeah,
they've got transwarp cells and like they can travel through time and space, and he uses dynamite. Could you be any more Acme than that? What I did like was that when you see Tarantula scheming, he's like, right? And it's kind of cartoony in a way that he's cackling to himself. Yeah. Because he's such an evil genius. Like a few minutes earlier, you have Megatron doing the exact same thing, just in a different part of the ship. Like,
yeah, I feel like that the coughing joke also really works because it's sort of like kind of the joke we've been waiting for all evil laughs ever, you know? A lot of nice lines in this one, too. I find the writing was pretty strong.
I think so, too.
You know, just little lines that would only kind of work in this show, like,
Well, looks like Curiosity just claimed another cat.
It's a cheesy line, but it's like, when else are you going to use that? You know? It's like, that's the perfect line to use in that situation.
It is. Do they have cats on Cybertron? How has that expression survived so long that a Predacon would use it in a conversation? Was Pterosaur like reading up old human phrases and went, oh, you know what? I'm going to use this on either Tigatron or Cheetor one day. He's like, oh, this is the perfect time.
He's like, oh, finally, I get to use it. I've been sitting on this since Equal Measures.
Hey, guys, you remember Equal Measures? What are you talking about, Pterosaur?
Yeah, so just like there's some lines like that I think that work really well for the episode.
I thought the fighting was kind of, it was okay. It was a nice departure from the...
I would say that that's probably the weakest part of the episode is that little climax there where they're basically being cartoons for a little while.
But it can be argued though that it was because it was all according to plan. That's why they fought the way they did. And Megatron at the end of it says, "Oh well, when baiting a trap or whatever, blah 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 blah, we must make it seem believable or whatever he says at the end of the episode."
Yeah.
So it could be argued that that was the point.
So they stormtroopered it.
They stormtroopered it, yeah.
Yeah.
To sell it to the Maximals to make them feel like they won the day, when in reality Megatron's 2 steps ahead of them.
Yeah, Megatron's a highlight of the episode because he was anticipating the aliens coming. He's able to anticipate using tarantulas to his advantage, and using the Maximals to his advantage.
Can I just touch on one thing?
Sure.
Anybody else out there think that it is a huge missed opportunity that Gary Chalk didn't play like a Starfleet captain in like a leading role in the series? That voice he has like would be perfect for doing like a captain's log at the beginning of an episode.
Prime.
Optimus Prime will always be Optimus Prime, right?
Yeah.
But Gary Chalk's Optimus Primal seems almost relatable, like kind of like a really cool uncle or something. But he's got that like very like that strong leadership character.
Mm-hmm. Spot on casting, actually. Yeah, anything you didn't like?
They, in this episode, they really took their time, and while there isn't a definite conclusion, if you're going into this the first time, like this is the first time seeing this episode, it leaves more questions unanswered, but not in a way that goes, oh, here's a cliffhanger for the sake of having a cliffhanger. It's just there's so much story to tell. There's so many seeds that they've planted throughout this first season that they're going to start exploring. They're going to start exploring those ideas in a much grander way. That this episode made extremely good use of the time that it had in setting up the next few episodes. So while on its own, it might feel like you're missing something, the fact that it sets up the conclusion to all this stuff that we've been seeing earlier on, it's a fantastic episode.
I do agree in that, like, this doesn't work as a standalone episode. Like, if this was the only episode of Beast Wars that you ever saw, you'd be like, well, there's a lot I don't understand, and I'm never going to watch this again. But I do feel like the series at this point has earned being able to have an episode that's just a lead up into the season finale.
Yeah.
To rush the beginning of it would do a disservice to the story that's to come.
Yeah, especially with the sacrifices that need to be made later on. It changes the face of the Beast Wars forever. Like, literally changes the face.
Actually, yeah, literally.
One thing that sticks out for me for some reason, two things involving Megatron. The weird speaker thing coming down and, like, blasting in Megatron's face. That, to me, is comedic. I don't know why. Why does he need a megaphone that's, like, that big? And his Tyrannosaurus head. When he's asleep, or when he's in his, like, robot mode, he has this, like, weird relationship with this Tyrannosaurus head.
Yeah, he's brushing its teeth and just kind of, like, petting it and stuff
And
like that.
it seems to, like being pet. And...
Yeah, this is the only episode where you see that, where it's, like, its eyes are moving around. It's sort of like, wait, is that thing alive? What's going on here?
Yeah.
And that's one thing where I'm just like, how do I feel about this? I don't know. It's just a creative way of using the space, you know? I mean, obviously that's like hours of work to like have him brushing his
Of course. And here's the thing. Who in the writing room decided, okay, well, while Air Raiders is getting shot at, what's Megatron doing? Brushing his T-Rex head.
Like,
okay. We're going to give Before the Storm 4 holographic Megatron floaty head things.
It's a good prelude to something big that's going to happen real soon. But as a standalone episode, it doesn't really work. But as a part of the bigger picture, it works very well.
It's a cohesive episode, solid writing, great character interactions.
So what did you think of Before the Storm? Please let us know in the comment section down below. We'd love to hear from you. Don't forget to like and subscribe.
Tell your mom.
As always,
Jingle
bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in a one-horse open sleigh! In the dark side, a tiger stalks down the halls. During a truce with no gun, he sure has some balls.